Well, now it's time to give the information to your guests. Of course, that means planning your wedding through your printed materials, which means your invitations. I know it can be very overwhelming, as all the details of a wedding are, but this has nothing to do with budget. This has to do with attention to detail. You can spend very little or a lot of money to create something spectacular when you receive your invitation. And let me tell you something, I truly know that receiving a wedding invitation sometimes is like, oh my gosh, I'm invited to a wedding. But if the invitation is inviting, your guests are going to truly want to RSVP yes to your celebration. So let's start with save the dates. Save the dates, acknowledge the fact that you truly mean you want your guests to be there. It doesn't mean save the dates are for a destination celebration. It means that you're going to tell your guests in advance 9 months, 10 months prior. I know that sounds like a long time. And your invitations, which is all the formalities of your wedding, should go out 3 to 4 months before your wedding celebration. Now think about this. When you read a book, you start your book with the first page and you end it with the last, and everything in between is giving you the story that you want to learn and experience. The same is true with your wedding invitations. You are telling a story of a couple, the two of you in love. Now you can do this by the choices that you make in the details. So let's just go through this for a second. You're a modern bride. You are a modern couple. It should be sleek, clean, understated, not a lot of color. The choice of font that you have in the wording can be very, very clean and simple. Now let's say you're a classic, more romantic bride, which means you'll probably have a lot more floral. Choose the floral and the color to match the color scheme of your overall wedding, and that will be portrayed in your printed materials. Now let's say you're a little bit more funky and unusual and you want to add a little bit of sparkle and glamour and glitz. You can also do that through your save the dates and printed materials. Now in front of me are so many different options. Let me tell you something, there is no limit to the things that you truly can choose for your printed materials. But again, I want you to have fun with this, and I want you to think of something. Your printed materials go out the door, they go into the envelope, they are sent to your guests, they open them up. I want you to make sure that this is the beginning of the creativity, the style. So if you choose lavenders and dove gray and white in your printed materials, I want you to see that portrayed in the design of your wedding so it all ties together and tells your story. So I want to show you something. Everything here, this is your invitation. The design is on both sides. The invitation, this has olive leaves, which has this very specific look. The bottom of this here is your reply card. You bend it back, you then detach it off of here. You send this back because it has the name of who it goes to with the return address. You stamp it, RSVP card, everything is done. It's really simple. Here's the good news. All of this is very affordable and you can pick anything that you choose to do. Now, I have to have some fun. Everyone asks about my wedding celebration to Joey and what the invitation looked like. Now this is over the top, yes. This is a little bit more costly, yes. But if you want to go down that route, these are the things that you can do. This is an old Hollywood invitation, black and white stripes on the outside, a ribbon going in the opposite direction, the tag of our names, and the feel is velvet. It's nice to have texture in your invitation. When you open it up, inside the invitation, Art Deco along the back, gold was the metallic accent, the same velvet with all of the information to the wedding celebration. Now, when you're also picking your printed materials, think of all of the accessories. Example, your numbers to each of your table, as well as your menu cards that could potentially go at each place setting for your guests. And lastly, don't forget to finish telling the story, your thank you cards, because that's the last thing that they receive when everything is done and over. Now I'm going to show you one more. This is a very romantic, classic, over-the-top celebration. Imagine getting this in the mail. I mean, if I got this, I would go even if I didn't know them. This is pretty amazing. The buckle on the outside, the ribbon around this satin box. You unclasp the outside buckle. You open the invitation, and everything with its side pockets includes the agenda for the week, RSVP card, and of course your invitation with all the details. So remember something, storytelling is going to be consistent with every time I talk about your wedding, but your story starts to be told in your printed materials. You don't have to spend a lot, you just have to think a lot, and you have to be creative, and you have to follow through from beginning to end. So have fun.